It is time. That wonderful music indicates that she is there, and it's time for a conversation, a little shot of vitamin T with Teresa Tomeo. Good morning, Teresa.
Hey, buongiorno, my friend.
Buongiorno.
Amici. After the show today, heading down to Washington, D.C. for the Catholic Radio Conference,
Nice.
which is going to be a lot of fun. I'm speaking with Annie and Matt from the Sunrise Morning Show and Ace McKay from EWTN, all about Ready, Set, Show, all about show prep. That's on Thursday, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Nice.
That'll be helpful for that. I'd like to be a fly on the wall for that. And, of course, you always know how to take us, especially in your book and elsewhere, into Italy and where to go and why to see what you're looking for. You might be off the beaten path for a lot of folks.
Well, I always try to do that because most people, when they go to Italy, obviously, if they're going for the first time, you have to see the big things. You have to see the major basilicas, obviously, St. Peter's, St. Mary Major, etc., the Colosseum, all the great things that you can see, the Pantheon, Piazza Navona. But there are so many beautiful churches and places to go that people don't think about. For example, this week we're celebrating two powerhouse saints, St. Monica and St. Augustine. And so I'll be doing something on my Italy Shrines and Wonders tomorrow with more detail. But there are so many cool places that you can visit to walk in the steps of of those saints. For example, you could go to just outside of Rome. It's like, 25-minute drive to Ostia Antica, which is a mini Pompeii and has amazing preserved amphitheaters and homes and even a restaurant with tables. I mean, it's crazy. And a pizza oven. It gives you the sense of what life was like, centuries ago. And Ostia Antica used to be right on the water. It was a main port city for Rome. But because of the different changes over the centuries, sand moved in, and so now it's about 2 to 3 miles away from the beach. But it's a great stop on the way to hit the beaches outside of Rome. So it's a fun thing to do, and of course you can visit and see where St. Monica died. Now, she was originally buried there, but then her body was moved to St. Augustino in Rome. So that's a really cool place, and of course you have Milano, baptized St. Augustine. You can go below the Duomo and see the baptismal font that remains there. Pretty amazing. And then St. Augustine is actually buried outside of Milan, about 25 kilometers outside of Milan, in a beautiful town called Pavia. And you can go to the church there and visit his tomb, and there's a beautiful statue of him holding the heart, reminding us of the restless heart. Our hearts are restless until we rest in thee, O Lord. So when people are going to Milan to the Duomo, if they're going, for example, to Rome, or if they're going to the sea, these are some of the things that people miss, and I just really try to help people focus not only on the big things, but those smaller places that can really wrap everything up for you in terms of a pilgrimage experience.
Teresa, what's the name of the basilica that houses St. Augustine's remains?
It's called San Pietro di Cielo, and it is, again, in the town of Pavia. What's nice about it, it's not that far from the train station. It's very close. We've gone there many, many times. And so it's very easy to get to there from Milan. Again, it's only about, 25 kilometers. That's about 20 miles outside of Milan. It's south of Milan. But it's one of these things where you walk up and you're thinking, this doesn't look like a really fancy church. I mean, this doesn't look very important because the facade is so plain. And you walk inside San Pietro, and there you have the tomb of this great doctor and father of the church, which is pretty amazing and eye-opening. And a lot of people think he's maybe buried in Rome, or maybe he's buried in Milan at the Duomo. But they actually put his remains there because they were very concerned about vandals, which happened all the time in the early years of the church, of people trying to get the different relics, body parts of the saint. So, his tomb is there, and it's quite magnificent. Large, big sarcophagus above the altar, and then they have that gorgeous saint right next to the altar. Very, very pretty place to go and see.
Now, is Monica there? Is she buried there too? Also,
no,
Saint
Monica is
Monica?
buried. She was buried in Ostia Antica, but then the Pope, I think it was Pope Martin V, moved her body to St. Augustine, so she's at the church named after her son, St. Augustino, which is another amazing church, which is close to the Pantheon. And again, so when you're doing like a walking tour of Rome, when you're doing like a piazza tour, you're going to the Pantheon, you're going to Piazza Navona, you're going to the Trevi Fountain, which is a typical walk in Rome, people basically just walk by that church, and they don't even stop there. There's these amazing paintings, including at Caravaggio. There's a painting of St. John the Baptist, and that is a church, actually, that's dedicated for Monica, obviously because of her being buried there, but for moms, Pat, who are either trying to get pregnant or maybe had a prayer answered, because there's a beautiful statue of Madonna of Loreto there as well. And so when you go in, you see all these little hearts that are literally pinned to the wall, and that is a sign of a prayer answered or asking for a prayer. And it's a very moving place to be, in addition to the tomb of St. Monica.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
And
Yeah, it's really cool. Really cool.
I think I walked right by that church. I'm one of those people, I think, that walked
I know,
by
we
it.
all do, right? I mean, it's
Yeah.
a common thing that we do because we're busy seeing the main sites. But again, that's one of the reasons why I wrote the book, to take some time when you're going all the way over to Rome, right? You're going all the way over to Italy. Yes, see the big sites, absolutely, super important, but know that there's so much more. Oh, and we have breaking news this morning, guys. I just found out yesterday that they just unveiled a new statue of soon-to-be St. Carlo Acutis outside St. Mary Major in Assisi. So you can check that out online.
Goodness.
Just look, new
Nice.
statue unveiled of Carlo. And he's holding a computer, and on the computer is an image of a monstrance.
Oh,
So
wow.
Oh, neat.
and it's really
They got it
sweet.
covered.
So, yeah, I'm going to go check
Yeah.
it out. Deacon Dom and I, God willing, are leaving on Saturday to head back to the motherland. And then we're going to go check out Assisi and see how busy it is. So hopefully I'll have a good report for you, God willing, next Tuesday.
Cool.
Well, that's the great benefit, obviously, of your intimacy with Italy, is being able to take people to places that aren't along that well-traveled path, right? I mean, to go off the path a little bit, find these places that are so fabulous. Also, pilgrimages by CTS.com, corporate travel, they're always forward-thinking. They're always looking at opportunities in the future. And I'm just seeing this now. They are advertising the ability to go through you and Deacon Dom's house in 2075, soon assumed to be blessed, is what they're saying. Teresa Tomeo and Deacon Dom. So for 2075, you got to wait for a little bit for that. But for now, because you're there, Teresa, on a serious note, you really do know intimately about these places. Not only what's there, but how to get there, best times to go there, all of those things.
Yeah, that's the advantage, obviously, of going there so many times, but also living there. And when we made the commitment to live there part-time, we really wanted to explore. And so now that we're settled, we bought our little place in 2023, and now that we're settled, we move around. Like each weekend we go to a different place. We try to go to a different place every weekend and explore. But, speaking of coming to our house, we are doing that now. We had our first pilgrimage group back in May with a wonderful priest in the Diocese of Lansing, Father Chas Canoy, and we had his pilgrims, 54 of them, come to our, we call it Bar Divino. It was an old garage that we redesigned, and we made a kitchen, a little wine bar. And anyone who's coming to Italy and is passing through Umbria can book aperitivo with T and Dom, happy hour with T and Dom, through corporate travel at ctscentral.net or through my website, the Travel Italy website, travelitalyexpert.com, where we take you into our village. We'll walk you around our little village, which is very tiny. It takes about 5 minutes. And then we'll take you back to our beautiful little area, and we'll serve you local wine, cheeses, and meats, because Umbria is famous for its meats. And you'll hear our story of why we decided to move to central Italy, what it's like living in the land of the saints, and just spend some quality time together, but to give you a real, authentic, off-the-beaten-path experience, because our town is in the middle of the countryside, so it's absolutely beautiful. You can walk out on our little terrace, have a glass of Prosecco, look out over the fields, so it's quite the experience. And our groups that we had there in May were just blown away by the fact that they were in this little medieval village. Our village dates back to the 14th century, maybe even earlier. And the beams in our garage now / Bar Divino are that old as well. Dominic made sure, my husband has a background in architecture and engineering. He did the lighting, and he made sure that they kept the original structure and revealed a lot of natural stone there. So it's really fun. It's very affordable. You can check it out at travelitalyexpert.com, and we will give you a beautiful aperitivo, which means to open. It comes from the word aperto, which means to open, so to open the appetite. I like to say it's to open the heart to the beauty and taste of Italy.
I love that.
There you go.
I just want to play bocce ball in your backyard.
I'm pretty good at bocce ball, actually. My dad taught me. I love bocce ball.
Teresa, we've got just a couple minutes left, and we're talking about a group of people from the United States and beyond making a pilgrimage this week, an annual pilgrimage provided by EWTN, an invitation for all of those who are involved in Catholic Radio to gather once a year. Tell us real quickly about that gathering.
Yeah, that's going to be great. We've got the Catholic Radio Conference that you can just look up on Google, EWTN Radio Conferences, obviously for people who are either in or interested in Catholic radio, but that leads into the beautiful family celebration. And there's going to be talks at the family celebration. All are welcome, and it's all taking place in the suburbs of D.C., and I'll be reporting from there this week, and I leave after the show today.
Awesome.